Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to be giving you the rundown on the cheapest possible medium format film camera that I could find on eBay, which is the Lubitel 2, which I might be saying that wrong. So the Lubitel 2 is a twin reflex camera that was produced in the Soviet Union. So what it means to be a twin lens reflex camera is that you have two lenses. So the top lens is the viewing lens and the bottom lens is the one that's actually taking the picture. These cameras were produced between 1954 and 1977, and the reason to have the Latin lettering on the front rather than the lettering that they used in the Soviet Union is because these cameras were intended for export purposes. This camera shoots 6x6 frames, which means that they're squares, just like my House of Blood does. I got this camera for $60, and that's including shipping from Russia, which is pretty remarkable for a medium format camera. And I really was excited to get it in because a lot of people are always asking me like, what do you recommend as a good starter medium format camera? Or what's a great medium format camera on a budget? Well, I hope this one, I haven't processed the film yet, but I did shoot with it and it was kind of fun to shoot with. So let me break it all down for you guys. So the top lens has focusing cues on it, but they are in meters, not in feet, like most cameras that we're used to. And what's I found kind of funny about that is the cues are 2.8, 4, 5.6, 8, and 11, which are very common aperture settings, but that's not the aperture setting, so don't get confused by that. That's just the focusing distance. So the closest this camera can focus is 1.4 meters, and that's kind of far. I think that in feet, like 1 meter is 3 feet, so it's roughly probably like 4 feet, I think. I don't know. I'm not good at math. But this camera is super cute. So wide open, this camera shoots at f4.5, and let me show you the basic functions and how to change them. This is the viewing lens and this is the actual picture taking lens. So as you focus it and you spin the top one and focus, the bottom gears are also going to spin, ensuring that both lenses are seeing the same way. So now to change your aperture and shutter speed, if you look on the side here, you have all your settings. So this little red dot here is for shutter speed, and you adjust that by moving this little lever. To change the aperture is there's another little lever right here, right below that. And you slide it and pick whatever you want. Now, it also has a sync port, so if you wanna connect it to strobes, you can do that with this camera, which I think is super cool, especially since I'm primarily a studio photographer. If I wanted to, I could hook this up to my strobes very easily, and you would do that right here with a sync cord. So now, to take a picture, that's over here on this side. This is to cock the shutter, so you flip that down, and then you pull this down. This is your shutter button. Ready? Boom! Now, this camera also has a self-timer, which I think is pretty cool. So to use that, you put that one down, cock your shutter, and then boom. So this camera right off the bat has a lot of features that I really like for a super cheap deal. So now to load the film in it, you pop these guys open. And then there should always be one of these in there. Pulls out. You stick that in there, and then you would put the fresh film in the bottom, pull it out and pull it over these little slidey rails, stick it in here, and then you engage this and spin it so that it starts to load. And then you close it up. And through this little red door is where you'll be able to see which frame you're on. So essentially you would just keep spinning this until this says 1, and then you're ready to take your first picture. And then after you take that picture, you spin it again until you get to frame 2, and then you keep going. So that is an overview of the Lubitel. So now I'm gonna take some pictures with it and I will show you guys what I come up with. Just a few things right off the bat about this camera is it's really hard to focus. So as you look in the top, there's a little thingy that pops up. I forget what they're actually called, but you look at it and then there's a darker circle on the inside, and that darker circle on the inside is where you're actually checking your focus. Otherwise, it's going to look like it's in focus outside of that circle all the time. So it's a bit finicky to focus. I find that when you're using this camera, you really have to slow down and think for a minute. And that's not always a bad thing. So I always am saying to photographers, like, slow down to speed up, slow down to speed up. So if you're somebody who just goes out and burns through a roll of film and you like shooting that way, I wouldn't recommend this camera. But if you're somebody who doesn't mind taking a minute to really think about and compose your photo, definitely a good camera to snag. Also, I was painting last night and I have some paint on my neck and all over my arm. That's why we're wearing long sleeves today. Okay, that looks in focus. Okay, we took the picture. Frame. So one thing about this camera is it's very easy to actually shoot a bunch of multiple exposures. So let me show you. So to advance the film, you do it with this lever, and then you have to look into this in the back for the number on the actual roll of film. So that was frame 9, and then, wait, I need some light on it. Okay, now we're on frame 10. So I don't know if you guys can see, but if you look in the little window, you see Kodak 10. I like to pretend I'm making cute little still lifes when I do this. Okay, I think that that's in focus, but like this camera is so funky. Like it's really hard to tell if you're in focus or not. Okay. Yay! Test roll is done. All right, so once you're finished shooting with the roll, I guess you just keep winding it. Okay, boom, and there's my film. And then you pull the knob, drop it out. And also, if you love your lab, here's what you do after you finish shooting your 120 roll, is you fold it. You make a little crease, make sure it's tight, and then this was in the camera, but it should still be on your roll of film. But you lick this, or use a piece of tape because COVID, and you seal it. So why it's important to fold it is because what you do when you process one of these rolls, the first thing you have to do is open it. So with this little ledge, what you could do is just take your fingernail and slide it and then open it easily. But if there's no flap, it's really hard to get this stupid sticky thing off. Fold it. It makes it so much easier to process. My final thoughts on the Lubitel 2. Is this the best, most affordable medium format camera? Honestly, I think it's a pretty good bang for your buck. The best, I haven't tested enough cameras to really answer that fully, but for what I paid and the images that this camera produced, I am completely satisfied. And I think that anybody who has really wanted to dive into medium format but can't afford a nicer camera, try to find one of these suckers. Like I said, I paid $60 for this camera, including $20 shipping from Russia, and it checked out. Couple things about this camera though. I did shoot a multiple exposure by accident, so after you take a picture, make sure you advance right away so that you don't also do that. This is a bare bones camera. There is no frills, no thrills. This is just a camera that will take a picture. I did find the focus to be kind of soft on it. It wasn't completely tack sharp, but like I said, for $60 and you can shoot medium format, I would say go for it. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave me a comment below, hit subscribe, and if you are looking for a new film lab to process your film, consider using mine because today that I'm filming this video, it is launch day! So head to www.darkslidefilmlab.com, check out what I have to offer, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.